Gaurav Sawant, a senior executive editor, in the studio with me, as well as Samar Srivastava, who's at the Sessions Court. Gaurav, while we wait to get a larger understanding whether the petitioners or whether the administration from the mosque is going to approach a higher court. The question is, what after the videography? Because till now, it had been limited to the videography of inside the mosque, whether it will take place or not. It's been common knowledge that there are Hindu faith artifacts inside the Mosque of Gyanvapi. Once that is established, then what?
First, what is common knowledge will have to be brought on paper. Once the videography is done, Preeti, only then will it be submitted in a court of law, and then the next course of action will be taken. Because so far, both when you and I were reporting from Kashi before 2014 and 2019 elections, we'd heard stories about how the Purohit had jumped into, the Gyan Koop with the shivling, and it's been buried at that Tehkhana or the basement, and the Tehkhana is locked. What's extremely interesting, Preeti, is the fact we just heard the lawyer say that even if the basement is locked, either the lock will be opened or the lock will be broken, but that videography will be carried out. So very clear directives coming in from the learned civil judge here in this case. So a videography will be carried out of all parts of the premises. One of the lawyers was quoted saying, chappe chappe par videography hogi. So there is no place that is barred from the process that will be carried out, just to allay fears about this so-called bias, as had been alleged by some. The court not only overruled it, but has appointed an additional official to accompany the commissioner, which means there will be 2 court-appointed officials who would be a part of this process. It will be a transparent process. The administration, Preeti, has been directed to ensure that what happened on the 6th and the 7th of May, the obstruction that happened twice, that should not happen the 3rd time. And that is where the administration will have to pull up its socks and ensure that due process of law is carried out. Of course, the Muslim side well within their rights to approach a superior court, seek a stay should they want to, but then that battle then goes to a superior court. But as of now, this process will happen between which is 12th, which is today, and then 17th, when the report has to be submitted, between 8 and 12. So there is a certain time frame that these people have to carry out their task from starting tomorrow till the 17th, Preeti.
Well, there are 5 days starting tomorrow till the 17th. Will the administration of the Gyanvapi Mosque actually approach a higher court? They don't have much time. They will have to do it then. And on the other hand, will the commissioner, the advocate commissioner, who's now made in charge of conducting a videography survey and filing that report till the 17th of this month, will that commissioner file and at least start conducting that survey as soon as possible? What we are given to understand, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but will it happen in the days to come, Saturday, Sunday, and the other days to come? Well, we'll only know soon. In terms of law and order, right now, we can confirm to our viewers everything is very calm, especially outside the Gyanvapi Mosque and the Kashi Vishwanath temple. But now questions will also be asked, what after the videography? This, viewers, is a sessions court. It's a lower court. There are many high courts above it. Now, will that entire issue after the videography also come into play, where you talk about faith versus law? There is an act which pertains to the 1991 Places of Worship Act, which primarily mandates that whatever we have inherited in terms of places of worship, in whichever shape we've inherited them since 1947, they will remain intact, they will remain the same. All of that will now be read in a legal purview after the videography is done, because then would be the next step. That is what the petitioners want, allow to access to the Gyanvapi Mosque through the course of the year. But let's listen in to the petitioners and we're right back.
आज फैसला है, कमीशन फिर से शुरू होगा और अजय मिश्रा को हटाया नहीं जाएगा और एक लोग और रखाए हैं विशाल सिंह, दोनों लोग मिलकर कमीशन करेंगे और 17 मई तक रिपोर्ट देना है उनको। और जिला अधिकारी को आदेश है कि आप ताला तोड़ के मतलब दिखाइए, अंदर जाइए, दिखाइए। बहुत दूसरी जीत है, अभी हम लोग की सामान्य जीत है, अभी और जीत बाकी है। आज सम्मान जीत हुई, हम लोग की बहुत बड़ी जीत हुई है। हाँ बिल्कुल प्रसन्न है। हाँ
जज की तरफ से क्या कहा?
जज ने कहा जांच होगी, अगर किसी कारणवश ये लोग रोकते हैं तो ताला तोड़ करके जांच होगी।
और एडवोकेट कमिश्नर के साथ कितने लोग और लगाएंगे?
एक और लगाए गए, 2 लोग।
एक या 2?
एक।
वो भी एडवोकेट कमिश्नर ही है?
हाँ।
और क्या कहा गया? जब मुस्लिम पक्ष की तरफ से क्या दलील दी गई? आप लोग जब
मुस्लिम पक्ष के बारे में हम लोग कुछ नहीं मानते, हम लोग अपने पक्ष के बारे में।
आप लोग खुश हैं आप डिसीजन से?
बिल्कुल, बहुत बड़ी जीत हुई हम लोगों की, जो चाह रहे थे वही हुआ।
अब आप लोग को मतलब एंट्री मिल गई, आपको क्या लगता है एंट्री जब मिलेगी अंदर तो क्या चीजें मिलेंगी?
जो चीज सामने आएगी वो सच सामने आ जाएगा, हमेशा सत्य की जीत होती है।
कुछ डेट डिसाइड हुई सर्वे की? अभी
17 तारीख को उनको कमिश्नर जमा देना है।
बिल्कुल स्वागत है। हम लोग तो पहले से न्यायालय पे भरोसा करते हैं और न्यायालय का सम्मान करते हैं। हम भीड़ तंत्र वाले लोग नहीं है। न्यायालय जो भी फैसला देगा उनका स्वागत है। न्यायालय के फैसले का ससम्मान स्वागत है।
आज जो फैसला आया है काफी ये हम सबों के लिए खुशी का वातावरण है और ये फैसला तो बहुत पहले आ जाना चाहिए। इस फैसले के लिए हिंदू समाज को लड़ाई नहीं लड़ना था, क्योंकि आज आप देख सकते हैं राम मंदिर के लिए 500 साल लंबा लड़ाई लड़ना पड़ता है। उसके बाद एक फैसला आता है और हिंदू समाज अब सहोद भाव से उसे स्वीकार करता है, किसी प्रकार का जुलूस नहीं निकालते। आज जिस प्रकार से यहाँ चल रहा, देखिए अगर सच है तो डर कैसा।
मिठाई लाए हैं क्यों?
मिठाई लाए, हम लोग खुशी हैं कि पक्ष में हमारे ही पक्ष में फैसला आएगा। आप अंदर क्यों नहीं जाने दे रहे हैं? आप अंदर जाइए, वीडियोग्राफी करें। आपको क्या दिक्कत हो रहा है? क्या डर लग रहा है आपको? अगर आपको लग रहा है कि गलत है तो फिर सही है। अगर आपका मस्जिद, आप फिर डरते क्यों हैं?
ज्ञानवापी मामले में जिस प्रकार से माननीय कोर्ट ने जो आदेश दिया है बहुत ही सराहनीय, मैं इसका सराहना करता हूं, इसका स्वागत करता हूं। और उसी तरह से उन्होंने कमिश्नर को हटाने से मना कर दिया है और ये कहा है कि कमिश्नर वही रहेंगे और दोबारा जांच शुरू होगा। ये जो जिहादी मानसिकता के लोग हैं उनको सबसे बड़ा एक कालिख पूतने का काम किया और माननीय कोर्ट ने ये वो कर दिया कि जो उन्होंने कमेटी बनाई थी वो बिल्कुल सही था।
All right, there's lots of reactions coming in. You just heard the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh as well welcoming the decision of the Sessions Court in Varanasi. I want to bring in our Senior Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant also back into this conversation. Gaurav, it's the first big win at the Sessions Court. The news that we are breaking, the Session Court has ruled that videography in fact will take place inside the Gyanvapi Mosque. It's up to now the petitioners in terms of the administration of the mosque to approach a higher court. We don't know whether they're going to do so, but they do not have much time, Gaurav. We're talking about a report that now needs to be filed in the course of the next 5 days.
Preeti, we are yet to hear from the mosque administration on what their next course of action would be. We are yet to hear from the Uttar Pradesh government or the Chief Minister. We were hearing, one of the religious leaders, that was Swami Chakrapani, who was welcoming, this judgment of this Sessions Court. Preeti, as of now, the situation is that due process in terms of videography, the three of the 5 petitioners, these ladies including Rakhi Singh, Lakshmi Devi and Sita Sahu, they were present and we are told they are the ones who are celebrating this verdict as of now, because their prayer was that they should be permitted unhindered access to Shringar Gauri Sthal to be able to worship there. And they were saying where there is Shiv, there is Shakti, and this is victory for Shakti or Ma Parvati, as they seem to indicate. So the next step, Preeti, naturally would be whether there is merit in the contention that there is a huge shivling in the basement of the Gyanvapi Mosque. Is that actually true, or is this, as they say in Hindi, kapol kalpit, or just imagined? If that's actually true, videography would be able to show that. Point 1. Point 2, is there merit in the contention that there are many more Hindu motifs and signs and symbols and idols all around this structure? India Today was the first channel to get you ground realities when India Today not only interviewed the videographer, that partial process that was carried out, but we were also able to put out those images as our viewers are watching on India Today, including right now, whether it's the Sheshnag or the Nandi or the lotus feet of Lord Brahma and multiple other symbols that were visible in the videography. In step 1, the Toran Dwar, the flowers there, the huge temple gong, All of that are indicators. What does that mean ultimately? Are there other idols where other Hindus would then want to go and pray? All of that remains to be seen. What happens next? It is a due process, and the next step would be with unhindered videography. Whether that unhindered videography actually happens, it couldn't happen twice in the past. Whether it happens next remains to be seen, Preeti.
All right, thanks, Gaurav, for correcting me. When you're on location, a lot goes down when you're lost in translation. What you just heard, viewers, I'll correct myself, was not the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, but a religious head, Chakrapani. We're going to keep getting our viewers the latest, but getting our viewers up to speed on the latest development that's come from a lower sessions court in Varanasi, and the ruling where the Gyanvapi Mosque dispute is concerned has gone in favor of the petitioners who have claimed that they want access to the mosque through the course of the year, because they say that this has been made on the remains of the original Kashi Vishwanath temple. Till now, the debate has surrounded, the dialogue has been over whether videography should be allowed or not. That has been settled by the lower court. Will it be contested in a higher court? We'll only know, and we'll know soon enough, because a 5-day period is the period that the ASI commissioner has to conduct this videography survey. 17th May is when the surveyor has to file his videography report, has to submit it to court, and then the next course of action starts. So, will the survey take place tomorrow? Well, we're not quite sure. The commissioner is the one who needs to decide. He has said no, but it could very well happen the day after and the day after that. Will the administration from the mosque approach a higher court and try and stall it before that? Well, we don't know. We haven't heard from the mosque administration yet. But clearly, there is a sense of elation where the petitioners are concerned, who wanted access to the Gyanvapi Mosque. I'll take our viewers back and let's talk about the history of the mosque, viewers, in terms of the dispute history. 1991 was when there was a dispute which was registered legally when petitioners from the Kashi Vishwanath temple itself went and approached the court, saying that the Gyanvapi Mosque, which is on the same premises, exactly share a wall, is been built on the remains of the Kashi Vishwanath temple. It was contested in 1998 by the mosque authorities. They said it was Waqf land, videography or any other survey could not be allowed. Nothing happened for decades, and once again, after the Ayodhya judgment, after the development of the Kashi Vishwanath temple last year, a fresh petition was raised by 5 women who go inside and pray to a deity once or maximum twice a year, said that they wanted unhindered, unfettered access inside the mosque, and they wanted to carry out rituals as and when they feel through the course of daily life. That is the premise of the dispute. The Sessions Court was hearing it on the basis of that petition. The Sessions Court invited the ASI, instructed in fact the ASI to conduct a videography survey. That videography survey, when it was taking place, was stalled by the authorities of the mosque inside on the pretext that it was Waqf property and videography will not be allowed. They also alleged that the commissioner in question, Ajay Kumar Mishra, is biased and they wanted him to be removed. This went back to the court. The matter was reserved over 2 hearings, and the judgment has come out today. On the Sessions Court level, the judgment has come out in favor, viewers, of the petitioners who want access to the mosque, the 5 women in question. And what has been decided is 17th May is the date that has been given by the Sessions Court, that a complete videography survey be conducted, and the commissioner in question remains. In good faith, the judge has said the commissioner remains, There is no bias where the commissioner comes into question, but an additional advocate commissioner has been attached to him. Now, instead of one, there will be two commissioners who will be conducting the videography survey. On the other hand, viewers, somebody who's been coming to Kashi for a very long time, I've been speaking to the locals here, all of them maintain very staunchly that it's common knowledge that the Gyanvapi Mosque always had relics associated to Hindu faith, associated to Hindu religion, especially Lord Shiva, the lotus, and other relics as well, other insignia as well. What happens from here on? Because this was common knowledge. Once it's videographed, then the court needs to take the next call of action. Now there is already a law which goes by the Places of Worship Law 1991, which pertains, viewers, suggests that whatever in terms of places of worship we have inherited from 1947 will remain intact. They will not be meddled with. It was the same law which was mentioned in the Ayodhya judgment. The 5-judge bench had observed very clearly, the 5-judge bench had observed at that point of time the 1991 law, and also added to it that this was an exception, anomaly where Ayodhya is concerned, and under the constitution and legality, no other exception will be made. So, legally, viewers, what from here on? That's the big question. But the first step, Gaurav, a big win where the Sessions Court is concerned for the petitioners, the 5 women wanting access to the Gyanvapi Mosque.
Preeti, it is being seen as a big win for rule of law. It is a win for petitioners who followed court orders. And, you know, as far as the 1991 Places of Worship Act is concerned, that's also been challenged in a court of law, saying it's violative of Hindus wanting to get their places of worship back. So that too will be challenged, is being challenged in a court of law. Remains to be seen what courts opine when that case is argued in the times ahead. You know, similarly, like the Citizenship Amendment Act that was passed in Parliament, accepted by courts of law, and yet challenged and opposed by some people. In a democracy, that is how you move forward. Point 1. Point 2, let's move forward on what courts have said today. Courts have very clearly said today that videography at the Gyanvapi Mosque will be conducted, and in every part of the Gyanvapi Mosque, including at the basement. Courts are very clear about that. If the basement is locked, then that lock will either be opened or that lock will be broken. Point 1. Point 2, there will be no obstruction. In case someone tries to obstruct, then the administration will take action against those individuals. Instead of one court commissioner, there will now be a 2-man team that will carry out the process. The videography will be conducted, and by the 17th of May, a report will be submitted to the court for the next course of action. We are getting a series of reactions. Let's quickly listen in.
So we are now joined by Shivam Gaur, the Hindu side advocate. क्या हुआ आज कोर्ट में, शिवम जी बताइए।
ऑर्डर ने हमारी एक एक आर्गुमेंट को सही माना है, इनके पूरे पक्ष को गलत ठहराया है। इनका जो वक्तव्य न्यायालय के समक्ष रखा गया है, उन्होंने कहा कोई बल नहीं दिखता है इसमें, किसी भी तरह का एलिगेशन के पीछे कोई भी मजबूत कारण नजर नहीं आया। लेकिन हालांकि न्याय संगत रखते हुए और कल को किसी तरह का संदेह बाकी ना रह जाए, न्यायालय ने 2 अन्य एडवोकेट कमीशन नियुक्त किए हैं जो साथ में इस कमीशन कार्रवाई को पूरा कराएंगे। ताला खोलने और तोड़ने तक की जो आदेश है वो जारी कर दिए गए हैं। 8 बजे से लेकर 11 बजे तक कमीशन कार्रवाई होगी। जब तक पूरी नहीं हो जाएगी, निरंतर चलती रहेगी। 17 तारीख को रिपोर्ट पेश की जाएगी।
एडवोकेट कमिश्नर को लेकर क्या बात हुई अंदर? एडवोकेट कमिश्नर ने क्या कहा है?
एडवोकेट कमिश्नर कंटिन्यू करेंगे इसको एग्जिस्टिंग एडवोकेट कमिश्नर अजय कुमार मिश्रा इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे, लेकिन उनके साथ में 2 एडवोकेट कमिश्नर जो अन्य हैं,
2 या 1 लगाए गए?
2 हैं, और वो इसको कंटिन्यू करते रहेंगे, जो उसको में शामिल होंगे ताकि कोई बायसनेस का नया एलिगेशन ना हो सके। जी।
और आप लोगों के उसमें जो तहखाने के अंदर जाने की बात हुई, उसको लेकर क्या है?
तहखाने को लेकर के आदेश स्पष्ट कर दिए हैं। ताला खोल दिया जाए, अंदर एडवोकेट कमीशन कराई जाए, वीडियोग्राफी की जाए। अगर किसी तरह का विरोध उत्पन्न होता है तो पुलिस प्रशासन को ये भी हिदायत है कि उसको हटाने का आपके उचित कार्रवाई आप कर सकते हैं।
आखिरी सवाल, मुस्लिम पक्ष अब क्या कर सकता है इसके लिए?
देखिए, वो इलाहाबाद हाईकोर्ट ने इसको सही ठहरा दिया था पहले ही, तो इलाहाबाद हाईकोर्ट तक तो कुछ है नहीं। उसके यदि कोई लीगल रेमेडी वो इसको लेकर के कोई नया हिंड्रेंस बैरियर डिले टेक्टिक यूज करते हैं तो उसका मैं कुछ।
सर्वे डेट क्या हो सकती है 17 से पहले?
देखिए, सर्वे डेट 17 से पहले 11 आज हो चुकी है।
जी, कल हो सकता है?
कल नहीं हो पाएगा, परसों से हम लेके चल सकते हैं।
आज फैसला आया, कमीशन फिर से शुरू होगा और अजय मिश्रा को हटाया नहीं जाएगा और एक लोग और रखाए हैं विशाल सिंह, दोनों लोग मिलकर कमीशन करेंगे और 17 मई तक रिपोर्ट देना है उनको। और जिलाधिकारी को आदेश है कि आप ताला तोड़ के मतलब दिखाइए, अंदर जाइए, दिखाइए। बहुत दूसरी जीत है, अभी हम लोग की सामान्य जीत है, अभी और जीत बाकी है।
आज सम्मान जीत हुई, हम लोग की बहुत बड़ी जीत हुई है। हाँ बिल्कुल प्रसन्न है।